Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stream Team Fest 2021. As you can see here, we are at Spring Lake here in San Marcos at Texas State University. We wish you all were here with us today, but I'm glad we saved you a trip down I-35 at least. It's a beautiful yet muggy and wet 78-degree October morning here, and we're happy to kick off this festival to celebrate Texas Stream Team and 30 years in existence, and really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today, tomorrow, and Thursday as you can, and are honored to have all of you here with us, not only today, but as part of our amazing organization. We couldn't do it without you. And so I'm going to start off with some introductions. I'm Jenna Walker. I'm the Deputy Director of Watershed Services here at the Meadows Center for Water and the Environment, and proudly have been working with Texas Stream Team since I started here at Meadows Center 6 years ago as the program manager. Before that, I was a partner. And I'm going to just quickly introduce our staff, our team, and then we'll get into some more details about what the different roles are of our staff. So we'll start with that and then do some more introductions before moving into a summary of today's events. Aspen, you want to go next?
Sure. Hey, everybody. I'm Aspen Navarro. I am the Watershed Services Program Coordinator. Claudia, you want to go next?
Hi, everybody. My name is Claudia Campos, and I am the Administrative Coordinator for Texas Stream Team. Laura, take it away.
I knew you were going to pick me. Laura Parchman, Data Manager, and I picked Sandra.
Hi, everyone. Sandra Aris-Mendez, Water Quality Monitoring Coordinator for Watershed Services, which includes, of course, Texas Stream Team.
And Robert?
Hey, everybody. My name's Robert Mace. I'm the Executive Director here at the Meadows Center for Water and the Environment, and I get to work with all these fine folks every day.
Yeah. And we have several other student workers that I believe are going to be involved as they are here with us throughout the day and throughout the week. And so we'll be giving a shout out to them later. And we also have Nick Dornack as part of our team, who's going to be in and out, who is the Director of Watershed Services and oversees our program as well. So I'd also like to recognize some of our very important people. We have the honor of representatives joining us from Texas Commission for Environmental Quality and also the Environmental Protection Agency as our main funders and supporters. And so we have Kerry Neiman here. Let's see, your official title I'm looking is Planning and Implementation Section Manager of the Water Quality Planning Division. And we've asked each of them to say a few words. So Kerry, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Today we celebrate Texas Stream Team, its partners, and thousands of citizen scientists across the state. Collectively, they help us develop and implement watershed-based plans that protect and/or restore water quality. The investment in your 4 pillars of action, research, leadership, education, and stewardship, are realized firsthand when we get to know Texas Stream Team staff, its partners, and citizen scientists at our many public stakeholder meetings. Their passion for the environment is commendable, which results in a high level of stakeholder engagement at these meetings when we discuss education, data collection, watershed characterization, and the development of management measures and monitoring to determine implementation effectiveness. Although improvements in water quality are an important goal, the vested interest and commitment expressed by citizen scientists and other stakeholders results in sustainability long after the plans have been adopted or approved. Together, we faced unprecedented challenges recently due to the pandemic, and we adapted to overcome them. The Texas Stream Team showcased their resilience by creating online training programs for volunteer citizen scientists, water quality monitors, ultimately training over 260 volunteer citizen scientists in fiscal year 2021, conducting 1,699 monitoring events at 176 active stations throughout Texas, and continuing other program activities. In addition, Texas Stream Team citizen scientists are currently monitoring in 15 watersheds with developing or implementing watershed protection plans, and 4 watersheds with total maximum daily load implementation plans. Recently, Texas Stream Team provided direct technical support to develop the Dry Comal and Comal River Watershed Protection Plan and the Shoal Creek Watershed Protection Plan. TCQ has supported Texas Stream Team program since it was Texas Watch, and TCQ was the Texas Natural Resource Conservation Commission. In fact, after graduating from the Geography and Planning Department at Texas State University in 1996, I started my career with the TNRCC working in Texas Watch. So this celebration is special to me, and I genuinely appreciate the opportunity to share my thoughts with you today. Texas Watch was renamed Texas Stream Team in 2008. In fact, we've worked with EPA to fund Texas Stream Team since 1995, over 25 years. Since 1995, we've granted over $6.5 million to volunteer water quality monitoring through Texas Watch and Texas Stream Team. Funding since the program name change in 2008 to Texas Stream Team stands at almost $4 million. In closing, I applaud all of you for your commitment, your passion, and your partnership. I often say that it's all about relationships. This relationship and your work to improve water quality is an important and worthy accomplishment. I am honored to celebrate it with you. So here's to you, Texas Stream Team. Happy 30th anniversary.
Thank you, Carrie. Very, very much appreciated. We also have Brian Fontenot with the Environmental Protection Agency. He's the Region 6 Non-Point Source Coordinator. And Brian, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you so much.
Camera, if you can.
I was going to say, I have to apologize. EPA did not give me a laptop with a camera. So
No problem.
It's about 5 years old, so it's pre-coronavirus. So hopefully I'll get one at some point. But sorry about that. Anyway, I wanted to say thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and to attend the Stream Team Fest. I'm really looking forward to it. I've been with the Non-Point Source program for about 10 years. And most of that has overlapped with my esteemed former colleague, Michael Vera. So I heard a lot of good stuff about the Stream Team and all the good work you guys do. And so I'm really excited to learn more about it now and to look forward to working with you guys in the future. And, you know, Non-Point Source itself is a voluntary program. We work very closely with our state partners, but the rubber meets the road with folks like you, citizen scientists and folks out there in the watershed getting things done. We couldn't do one single thing without you guys. So we very much appreciate all the work that you do. You're integral to our mission. And I want to say on behalf of EPA and all our state partners, thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to the rest of things. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Okay, and we also have Rachel Renz with us today, and she is the Region 6 Citizen Science Coordinator with the Environmental Protection Agency. Rachel.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I think Jim might be on the phone. I don't know if we can get him able to talk, but yeah, Jim is our state program manager for Texas. So I work with Brian and Jim in the Non-Point Source program. And I don't work directly with Texas, but I do have kind of the unofficial title of being the Citizen Science Coordinator for a regional program, which basically means I get to do fun things like coming to Stream Team Fest. But as you can tell by Brian being here and Mike and everyone, we're all really excited to support Stream Team and express our gratitude for all the work you guys do. In general, EPA values citizen science as a way to connect and collaborate with the public on environmental science. And like Brian said, this is especially important in the Non-Point Source program, since we rely on voluntary implementation to implement measures to improve and protect water quality. not everyone thinks about water quality as much as all of us here today do. So having stream team scientists as partners in all our watersheds all across the state is a really great resource that all of you helped provide. Because there's general statewide monitoring that has kind of its own purpose, but you guys are really the experts on the local watersheds that you guys help to monitor, and actually being kind of in the water body and regular monitoring that you guys do really helps to provide valuable insight that'd be hard to get otherwise. And it's always helpful to have more data. So we just wanted to say that we're very proud to work with TCEQ to support Stream Team, and thanks to all of you volunteers for all of the time and effort you guys put into helping to monitor our waters. Thanks.
Rachel. Okay, so it looks like Jim was not able to join us.
Well,
Sorry.
Rachel, you said he joined by phone. I do see a number on here.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I'm going to allow that number to talk and unmute themselves. And then Jim, if you're there, you should be able to unmute.
Well, I'm not seeing him unmuting, but I do want to recognize him as the non-point source program manager for Texas at the Environmental Protection Agency. And thank you for joining us if you're here with us. And we really appreciate y'all's support. I also want to recognize some of our other funders for Texas Stream Team. So I'll go to the next slide, please. So in addition to funding from the Texas Commission for Environmental Quality through the Environmental Protection Agency, we receive funds through the non-point source 319 funding through TCEQ. And this is our main source of funding. We are forever grateful for all of the support that we received from both of those organizations. And over the past 5 or 10 years, we have looked to diversify a little bit and hopefully be, to enrich our program even more through other funds. And so I want to recognize Melinda and Robert Neblett as individuals supporting our group. We have the Troll Foundation and the James A. Buddy Davidson Charitable Foundation, the Meadows Foundation, also Lions Club, Blue Triton, formerly known as Nestle, Nestle Waters North America. And then also here at Texas State University, not only the university as a whole, but also the Environmental Service Committee, which is a student-run organization. So we are very grateful for all of the support by those funders as well. And let's see, we'll move on from here. Aspen, are you gonna say a few words about our break?
Yeah, so Claudia, can you go ahead and advance the slide? So our next session will begin at 11:30. Get a little break in for you guys because we will be going for about 2 hours today. So feel free, bathroom break, grab some coffee. We'll be back on at 11:30. And then for today, we do have lined up just a general overview presentation of Texas Stream Team. And then that will be followed by our virtual award ceremony. So stick around. We have stuff planned until about 1:10 today. So we will be back on at 11:30.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate you guys. Claudia, go ahead and pause the recording. Thank you. Appreciate it. And just a reminder, if anybody joined us a little bit late or after 11 o'clock, we are in a Zoom webinar. So if you have any questions, feel free, shoot them in the Q&A feature. You should see it down on your panel there at the bottom of the screen in Zoom. And if you just want to chat, feel free to do so. We'll be monitoring both of those features. So welcome to our first presentation officially of Stream Team Fest. We thought the best way to start off Stream Team Fest would be to give everyone an overview of Texas Stream Team and our operations. So we hope this will give those who are already familiar with our program more of an insight into our operations, and hope this session will be helpful for those who aren't familiar with our program at all. So feel free, like I said, send any questions in the chat feature. As we go through the slides, we're going to designate about 10 minutes at the end of the presentation to answer any questions, if any. So feel free to shoot them on in as we go through. Next slide. All right, so here's just a look into 3 main topics for this session. I'll cover some background information on Texas Stream Team, highlight all of the trainings and programs that we offer, and then I'll leave you all with ways in which you can get involved in our program. Again, if you're familiar with Texas Stream Team, some of this might be redundant, but you also might learn something new today too. Next slide. All right, kicking it off with some background information about Texas Stream Team. Next slide. Okay, so Texas Stream Team is a statewide citizen science water quality monitoring program that's been operating since 1991, hence us turning 30 this year. So we're a network of trained citizen scientists and supportive partners administered through a cooperative partnership between the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, and the Meadows Center for Water and the Environment, which is a research center at Texas State University. Texas Stream Team is partially funded by the US EPA through 319 Clean Water Act grant funds disseminated from the TCEQ. Next slide. And this one is just redundant from what Jenna was saying earlier. Texas Stream Team is 100% grant funded, and due to our significant growth over the years, we are constantly exploring other grant options to keep up with the growth of the program, which is a good problem to have. And this slide is just dedicated to some of our most recent and ongoing funders of the Texas Stream Team program, which we are extremely grateful for, and for all of our partners who help us fulfill all of our grant deliverables as well and keep our program going strong. Next slide. All right, so as our name implies, we cover the entire scope of Texas. As long as there's an interested individual in a specific area, we will do whatever we can to get those interested plugged into our program. However, Texas is a big state to cover, so thanks to our awesome partners, we've managed to connect individuals to our program all over the state. Currently, my last count was we have about 34 active trainers in the entire state of Texas. So that's not our total number of trainers trained, that is just the amount that is actually active within our program. Which we're super proud of, and we're continuing to grow as well. Next slide. All right, so where we are located. Our efforts may span across the entire state. However, Texas Stream Team headquarters is located at the Meadows Center for Water and the Environment at Texas State University, San Marcos. So the Texas Stream Team program is housed specifically within the Watershed Services Division at the Meadows Center. So pictured on the slide shows where we are located in a Google Map view. And as you can see, our office is located right on the headwaters of the San Marcos River, known as Spring Lake, which we have no complaints about whatsoever, because we have that beautiful view that you can see in the bottom picture here. And this is just a picture of our main building. This is Spring Lake Hall. This is where we are located. It's where our offices are. Next slide. Okay, so who are the core staff members of the Texas Stream Team program? Some of these faces may look familiar, and you'll see some of our faces all throughout Stream Team Fest as well. But I wanted to go through who we are and what our key roles are within Texas Stream Team. We all work on a plethora of projects, not just Texas Stream Team, but we all have a specific role that we play, a main role that we play in Texas Stream Team program. So starting with our director, Nick Dornack, he is the Watershed Services Director, and he oversees all staff and programs within Watershed Services, including Texas Stream Team. And then we have Jenna, who is our Deputy Director, and her main duties include managing program staff and all of our contract budgets, which are a lot of contracts at some points in time. So we would definitely appreciate all of that work. I'm the program coordinator, and my main duties are to establish our program scope of work based on interest that comes in and around the state of Texas, as well as our grant funders. This includes establishing partnerships, holding trainings, and getting new groups set up all throughout the state. Sandra is our water quality monitoring coordinator, and her main duties include serving as our program's quality assurance officer, and that includes a whole bunch of stuff, and mostly spearheading our monitoring protocols, supplies, future trainings, and she also leads trainings as well, and future supplies. Claudia is our administrative coordinator, and her main duties include maintaining and reporting program documentation for all of our grants and record retention requirements. Claudia also spearheads some of our outreach programs and efforts, such as our awesome newsletters that some of y'all may be subscribed to, and if you're not, we'll show you how to get subscribed. Laura is our GIS and data management associate, and her main duties include managing all of our programs, data, and our mapping platforms. Bess is our education coordinator, and she is the newest addition to our team. Her main duties, excuse me, will be to sustain our program education curriculum and classroom integration. So as our program continues to grow, so does our core staff. I would say our staff is probably the biggest we've ever been. Feel free to correct me on that, Jenna. But because there are now a handful of us, the only email you need to worry about to contact us with anything regarding Texas Stream Team is right there at the top, the txstreamteam@txstate.edu. We all have access to this account, so if you ever need anything for Texas Stream Team, that is your main go-to, and you will see this email address too a bunch of times throughout Stream Team Fest as well. All right, next slide. So due to time, I just wanted to provide a simplified timeline of our program to give some insight into our history and how we were established, where we were established, and Carrie kind of hinted at some of this stuff too. So it's just a good introduction for how far we've come and our timeline for the program. So in 1991, Texas Stream Team was originally named Texas Watch. The program was established out of the TCQ, but quickly moved full-time operations to Texas State University in the geography department to better manage the program. And then in 2006, the Texas Stream Team headquarters moved from Texas State's geography department to the Meadow Center, which allowed for expansive growth and development of non-point source pollution and watershed education programs. And then in 2008, the name Texas Watched was changed to Texas Stream Team, which is what we all know it as today, to more accurately represent the program's goals and collective mission. And then in 2018, we hit a huge milestone of training over 10,000 citizen scientists, something we're super proud of. We are one of the longest running and largest citizen science programs in the nation. So huge, huge accomplishment for us. Alrighty, next slide. Okay, so our program's mission is to facilitate environmental stewardship by empowering a statewide network of concerned citizen scientists, partners, and institutions in a collaborative effort to promote a healthy and safe environment through environmental education, data collection, and community action. So to date, we've trained over 11,200 citizen scientists. We've established over 400 monitoring sites and have made over 100 partnerships. Next slide. Okay, so next we'll move on to information about the trainings and programs that Texas Stream Team offers. Okay, so first I wanted to paint a picture of what our program structure looks like. So we have the Texas Stream Team headquarters where we update, refine, add new trainings and protocols through our quality assurance project plan. I won't get into what a QAP is too much here because Sandra will be covering a whole presentation tomorrow about QAPP and its importance and how our program functions because of it. So tune in tomorrow, you'll learn a lot, it's super helpful. So first, we'll set up the protocols for each of our training types and requirements. Our trainers on the ground, which also includes our staff, are the ones on the ground leading trainings to each interested individual on how to replicate the established protocols that we have set. Excuse me. So once an individual attends a training and completes each phase, they then become a certified Texas Stream Team citizen scientist, and then they can begin monitoring water quality at an established Texas Stream Team site. Next slide. Okay, so now we're going to go over the different training types that we offer. So our standard core training involves performing tests for parameters such as conductivity, dissolved oxygen, pH, total depth, water and air temperature, and water transparency using a chemical standard core kit. So in addition to these parameters, the standard core training also consists of various field observations. So this training is by far our most popular, and the only prerequisite, or we actually don't have a prerequisite for this training, but we do have the requirement of you have to be at least, I believe it is 12 years old. Okay, next slide. So our probe core training includes the same parameters collected in the standard core training. However, probe core trainees are instructed on how to collect these parameters using a digital probe meter as opposed to the chemical test. So it's a little bit more handy if you're testing multiple sites. Next slide. Okay, we have E. coli bacteria training, and this involves performing tests for E. coli bacteria. E. coli bacteria is measured to determine the relative risk of swimming or contact recreation in a water body. E. coli is a bacteria that originates from waste of warm-blooded animals, and the presence of this bacteria indicates that associated pathogens from waste may be reaching a body of water. So this is one of our few trainings that requires a prerequisite. Attendees must be core trained and have actively monitored for at least 6 months. Next slide. Our advanced training involves performing tests for nitrate, nitrogen, orthophosphates, turbidity, and stream flow using the advanced chemical kit. So this training also requires a prerequisite. Attendees must also have core training, and they also have to be actively monitoring for at least 6 months before they can move on to this training. Next slide. Our macroinvertebrate bioassessment training uses freshwater macroinvertebrates, fish, and habitat to determine the health of your lake, river, or stream. Next slide. And then lastly, we have the riparian evaluation training, which assesses the health of a lake, river, stream, or estuary based off the riparian habitat that's present. Alrighty, next slide. Okay, so Texas Stream Team also leads different outreach programs. We partner with other programs and other organizations as well, but these are the ones that we spearhead ourselves. So just kind of quick information about each of these programs. So the Trash Free Texas program is a statewide volunteer effort to help reduce trash pollution from our waterways. Texas Stream Team encourages our citizen scientists to remove trash when they are out monitoring and report any trash that they collect on their monitoring forms. And we do document that on our data viewer as well. Texas Stream Team offers institutions guidance and advice for creating a Texas Stream Team chapter, whether it be at a school or an institution. And then lastly, we have our watershed protection programs and our total maximum daily load programs. So this is where Texas Stream Team provides assistance on analyzing water quality data, informing stakeholders, and initiating outreach efforts and more. Next slide. So what happens with all the data that is collected within the Texas Stream Team program? There's a lot. We have about 30 years of data at some of our sites. And a bunch happens with it. So our data offers a look at the overall quality of watersheds and local water bodies. Data trends can be identified to ignite awareness and action. Our data can be used to educate the public, stakeholders, and local governments. Data summary reports are produced each quarter, which highlights all of the data, trends, and analysis of a specified watershed. Professionals in academia conduct research based on the data gathered under the Texas Stream Team program. Data is submitted to the EPA's Water Quality Exchange portal twice a year. And then our data is housed under our watershed, our waterways data viewer database. And that data then becomes publicly accessible through our interactive data map online. And we also have a session dedicated just to our data on day 3 of Stream Team Fest. So if you want to know more information, feel free to attend and check it out. All right, next slide. Okay, so last point of the day for my presentation is how to get involved in Texas Stream Team and the different ways that you can get involved. Next slide. So the first way to get involved is to become a trained citizen scientist. So if you go to www.texasstreamteam.org, this is what our homepage would look like, and you'll see a calendar icon that is highlighted in red at that bottom right-hand corner. Our online calendar lists all trainings taking place in the state that you may be able to attend. Once you open the calendar, you can click on any event, see where it is located, who to contact to sign up for it, what day and time it's happening. Another option is to check out our trainers page, which is highlighted also in red here. So you can reach out to a trainer directly and get plugged in and see when the next training or maybe when a one-on-one training can be held. And our trainings are typically 4 to 6 hours. Pre-COVID, it was about that time. Since they are smaller now, they don't take as much time because you don't have as much people. And once you're certified, your certification does not expire. Next slide. So another way to get involved is to partner with us. We collaborate with organizations all over the state on outreach events, on getting groups established, getting new trainers established, and much more. So from the homepage, you would click on the partners page, which is highlighted here, and you'll see a button once you click on that page that says become a Texas Stream Team partner, and you'll fill out a partner form, and it is completely free to partner with us. So no commitments needed other than you working with us and letting us help you with any projects that we possibly can. All right, next slide. Okay, so lastly, another way to get involved is to become a trainer and start a group. If you're interested in growing efforts and expanding monitoring events in your region, this is the route for you. So on the homepage, you would click on the forms and resources icon, which is right next to that calendar icon. And then it'll take you to a forms and resources page, which is a little snit of it is taken down here. So then you'll come to 2 icons that say the citizen scientist resources and the trainer resources. So you click on trainer resources, and there'll be a bunch of information on this page on how to become a trainer. We have a training and trainer enrollment form on this page that will also tell you all of the requirements that is needed to become a trainer, the different phases to become a trainer, to become certified, and then also how to maintain trainer status. Next slide. All right, so that is all I have for you guys today. And I want to give a shout out to our photo artists here, Andrew Shirey and Cooper Peterson, for making my slides look beautiful. And then I'll open up the floor now. So if there's any questions, I will check them out. And Claudia, you should be able to go ahead and pause the recording too.
Oh, hi. We're here today to honor some of our participants. As Carrie said earlier, it's all about relationships. Each of our relationships with each other as partners to protect these sacred waters of our state, all 191,000 miles of them. And so we're here to recognize a handful of the heroes of Texas Stream Team. And we really appreciate you being a part of it. And I have Dr. Mace here to speak on behalf of the Meadow Center.
Well, thank you, Jenna. I believe everyone starts off life as a scientist. If you think about your own childhood or just observing your kids or your grandkids, you know, as humans, we're just inherently curious, right? Kids are always turning over rocks and looking at things. You know, at some point, it seems like we're all tasting everything, you know, which is, if you think about it, it's hypothesis tasting. You're like, yeah, that looks like it might be tasty. And then you lick it and you're like, oh, that's not tasty. Or yeah, that's some good stuff. So it seems like science is just built into us. And science embodies that curiosity, collecting information, seeking patterns, noticing anomalies, and then also seeking, explanations. Why are things the way they are, which of course helps us solve problems. It's interesting that science in many ways started off as citizen science. Sir Isaac Newton was a citizen scientist, observing apples falling in the orchard and his family's orchard and coming up with the theory of gravity. Benjamin Franklin, in addition to his fascination with turkeys and representing the United States overseas during the Revolutionary War, he developed a big name for himself as a citizen science with the kite and the key, studying electricity. Charles Darwin was a citizen scientist. He was pretty much floating around on his own nickel and dime, making observations. And Florence Nightingale, of course, known for her nursing work, did a lot of basically citizen science in terms of advancing healthcare across the planet. In addition to Franklin, many of our country's forefathers were citizen scientists, including George Washington and Thomas Jefferson, that were collecting weather information back in the earliest days of the country. There are many great things about citizen science, but perhaps the greatest is that there are so many more of you than there are of us. Would want to get in a street fight with citizen scientists, because as scientists, we would be outnumbered. And because there's so many more of you than us, you can do so much more than we as a scientist can. In total, there are 3,700 some named streams in Texas, 15 major rivers, and as Jenna noted, 191,000 miles of stream features crossing the Texas landscape. And scientists simply can't watch and monitor them all, which is why we are so grateful for your dedication to monitoring the streams that you love. Texas Stream Team is one of the longest standing programs at the Meadow Center, and we're very proud of that. And it's also one of the center's few statewide programs. With 30 years of water quality data, 12,000 citizens trained, and as I checked this morning, more than 570,000 data entries into our database, the research opportunities are vast. Dr. Kelly Albus and her co-workers showed in a peer-reviewed journal article that you collect good data that compares favorably with professionally collected data. That's a critically important study and also just evidence of the good quality work that you all do. Just this morning, I happened to come across the citizen science entry in Wikipedia, and they have actually a hydrology section, and I added in as an editor, I added in reference to that study because people need to know that. Christina Lopez showed another peer-reviewed journal article that stream teamers are primarily motivated by wanting to help the environment, but are also motivated by a number of other factors, such as social exchange in terms of developing friendships and social contacts through participating in Texas Stream Team, kind of personal enhancement, giving something of yourself for the environment and for science, career enhancement, which is kind of included with that social exchange in terms of meeting people, but also learning new skills, and then simply knowledge attainment, learning more about the world around us. Whatever your reasons are for being a citizen scientist with Texas Stream Team, we are grateful that you are here. As has been expressed previously, we're grateful to EPA, TCQ, and our partners, which are really too numerous to name, but they can be found on the Texas Stream Team website. I'm personally grateful for the Meadows team led by Jenna to implement Texas Stream Team across the state, our various trainers across the state that help train new citizen scientists, and to each of you who dedicate your valuable time to better understanding water in our state. The natural science writer Lauren Isley said that if there is magic on this planet, it is contained in water. Want to thank you for your dedication to monitoring and better understanding the magical waters of our great state. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Mace. Okay, now we have Mike Vera to speak. After a long career at the Environmental Protection Agency, he is now retired, and we're happy that he moved from the Dallas-Fort Worth area down to San Marcos. So he's now our neighbor, and happy to have him closer. And I'll let Mike take it away from here.
Yeah, hi. Can y'all hear me? We're good?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm really glad to be here. I really wish this was live and in-person event, because there are a lot of hands that I would like to shake and a whole lot of necks that I would like to hug. This citizen science movement has been a huge part of my career and my enjoyment of what I've done for a lot of my life, most of my adult life, actually. Texas, working for EPA Region 6, I just recently retired last December. But Texas, it was the first state in EPA Region 6 that got started, and it was used as a model for the Oklahoma program. And we helped Arkansas get started, Louisiana groups get started, Lake Pontchartrain Basin Foundation in particular, and New Mexico. So it's been a really neat adventure for me. And it's been just kind of a check, because when you work for a federal agency, you sit in your office and you wonder if what I do affects people. Am I spending our hard-earned tax money the right way, and all those things? And my outlet for motivation has largely been due to being able to attend these citizen monitoring events and seeing the people that are out there actually getting their boots muddy and freezing their butts off in the wintertime and collecting that important data that we use in the citizen science world and in the professional science world. And it's increasingly important now because of these crazy times we're in. We're in a world of extremes, and the people that promote a lot of these extreme views and different ends of the spectrum. I'm not trying to be political here, but it's just the reality. They tend to get polarized and, in my view, closed-minded, and they kind of manipulate facts. And they do that by creating their own facts, which is totally wrong. But they also just use facts that's convenient to their cause and leave out a lot of other facts that are important. So what we're doing in citizen science is we're producing sound, scientifically defensible environmental data, and we're bringing this whole scientific process of objective observation without bias to our communities and to society. And it's just a presentation of how to get to the truth. And that lesson, I think, goes much beyond environmental data. It goes to understanding what's happening in the world around us. We're providing a roadmap on how to find the truth. And this data that we hold up and develop is independent of any political views or any religious beliefs or any personal opinions. It's a point where we not only have the foundation of the truth, but also a focal point for action. And one of the great frustrations that you'll have at any level of science that you're involved in is recognizing the effort put into developing data and watching how it's either used incorrectly or not used at all, and it can make you crazy. So we have to have our reward and our consolation and the fact that good citizen science data that's properly recorded stands independently forever. There is no expiration date on what we're doing. I think that's huge. I think that's huge. And that is a legacy. It's an individual legacy for the people who are developing this data. It's a legacy for Meadow Center. It's a legacy for the universities. It's a legacy for the state agencies and the federal government. We are empowering people to know the truth and how to get there. That's what citizen science means to me. And this 30-year commemoration is a week that actually highlights not just the power of the generation of the data that we have, but also the increased value of trend analysis over these 30 years, as we've mentioned before. And we have information, thanks to the citizen scientists, on water bodies that the state would never, ever have any information on if it wasn't for the citizen scientists out there. That, to me, is really, really cool. And kind of the way it kind of comes together for me, I'll just use an example of today. Okay, this morning, I woke up and it was just getting light and I noticed it was wet. So being a wise scientist, I concluded that it rained last night. And the first thing I did was I thanked God for the rain. Now, if you were to ask me to prove that God gave us the rain or develop some type of scientific experiment to prove that God is there or did that, I couldn't do it for you. But whatever my religious beliefs might be, they work for me. And I use those to bring meaning to my life and kind of as a roadmap on how to live. And that's important to me. But there's no science behind that. But guess what? I've got a rain gauge. And I went out and I got a little bit over an inch of rain in my backyard last night. So that's a degree of scientific data. And I say a little bit of inch of rain because it's a decorative rain gauge. It has no calibration on it. It's not in a great location, but it's where my wife lets me put a rain gauge. And the kind of rain gauge that she wants has to be some kind of decorative little thing. So is that good information? Well, what am I going to use that for? I'm going to use it to know whether I need to water my plants, keep my tomatoes good, keep my herbs going. So it's important for how I use it. I'm not using it as part of the National Weather Service database. I'm not trying to make a predictive model of what it's going to do, but it meets my uses. And that's what it's for, and it works for me. So I just want to thank you all very much for what you do all the time. And it's been an absolute pleasure helping support Texas Watch. And my role is basically finding funds and getting the heck out of the way of good people doing good things. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to meet so many people in this citizen science world and all the people that support at different levels. And I was able to pass the torch to Rachel, who spoke earlier, and to Jim Drake as the non-point source person in Texas, the program manager. And y'all are in good hands, and I wish y'all well. I'll still be around in retired life because this is kind of hard to let go once it kind of hooks you. But thank you very much. That's about all I have to say.
Thank you, Mike. Really appreciate your thoughtful words. And Mike is going to join us on one of our panels tomorrow as we go down memory lane with Texas Stream Team, Texas Watch. So we haven't heard the end of him yet. Next, I'm going to ask Laura Parchman and Sandra Iris Mendez to hand out our awards.
It's just me today, Jenna, flying solo.
Just Laura.
Yeah, we didn't have the budget for 2 co-hosts. We didn't have a budget for wardrobe, hair and makeup, no sound and no song and dance choreographers, no joke writers. So I had to write my own jokes, but that's what we're stuck with. But I would just like to thank everyone for being here. And every day I get to come to work and I get to say thank you to my coworkers whom I just love working with. I think it's really fortunate that I get to work with people who have the same passions as I do and the same sort of attitude that what we do matters on a small scale, but we get to make that scale larger because of our citizen scientists. And this is an opportunity that we get today just to say thank you to just a few of the individuals and groups that make our program so successful. So our first award that I would like to hand out is an award we have been giving annually since 2018. It's awarded to someone who's just demonstrated an extreme commitment to citizen science, and then sharing that with others. And this year, our Golden Secchi Award goes to Danny Apodaca at LCRA Crown. And we just want to say thank you, Danny. And I'm so glad that you're here so we can say thank you in person.
Thank you.
And
appreciate it.
Danny's been working with Crown, I want to say since 1994. And
yeah, it's been a while.
I got that right. So this is Crown has been active in the water quality business almost as long as Texas Stream Team. I think since 1992 is the official date on that. Danny, why don't you just tell us what makes you excited to be a participant in this citizen science industry?
Thank you, Laura. It's exciting to be here today, and thank you all for putting this event together. What makes me happy is working with people that want to protect water quality, and it just never ends. The countless number of people that want to participate and do their part to protect water quality. And that's really what makes this program really fun to work with and important for me, is just meeting all the people out there from all walks of life, from upstream near Mason all the way down to Matagorda, citizen scientists who want to do their part. And it makes this work great. I've been doing it for 30 something years, 31 years now, I guess. And I've enjoyed it, and want to thank you all for this opportunity to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Danny. And for those of y'all who don't know, that is a one-person show there in the Colorado River Basin. Danny from the headwaters to the shore. Our next award, our recipient isn't here, but we wanted to take the opportunity to acknowledge the stuff that adds to our program and the creative bent that some of our citizen scientists have. So we established the Painted Bunting Award to honor the creative contributions that have been made to our program. And our first recipient is Andrew Shirey. And he has a wonderful website that you can go to if you just Google his name, that is powered by Adobe. And you can view his wonderful art. He has been sharing his work with us for about 4 years, and we're just grateful. And I think all of you are probably grateful to see such wonderful compositions that highlight the efforts of our citizen science program. So thank you, Andrew. You're not here, but everyone will tell him I said nice things about him, right? It's passed along. Moving on. The Water Guarding Award is an award that we have decided to hand out to honor to the research that's done, community outreach, above and beyond the normal citizen science duties. So our next recipient, well, our first recipient of this Water Guarding Award has been, was trained in 2016, back when she worked at AgriLife, and she was mentioned earlier, Kelly Albus, whose work has been published, and the official title is Accuracy of Long-Term Volunteer Water Monitoring Data, a multi-scale analysis from a statewide citizen science program. I'm gonna spoil it. That citizen science program is Texas Stream Team. So that means it's you, and it's good stuff. And it shows, it highlights the good work that all of y'all are doing in supporting this program. So Kelly, why don't you tell us how excited you are that you were able to publish your work on citizen science.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for hosting this event and for including me in this awesome award. I'm sorry if it's kind of loud. I'm outside. I'm attending another event and the wind is picking up like crazy. So, but I just wanted to say that when I first started this research, I will tell you that a lot of my academic advisors and professors thought I was absolutely crazy, because not only does citizen science, like, it's just now kind of reaching more common vernacular and people kind of know what it is, but the idea of testing volunteer work to see if it was comparable to professionals, I don't think they thought that it would be, and they thought that I was crazy for trying. But it turns out you guys did a fabulous job, and I was so excited to have those results to be able to share with everybody else, because it was 80 to 90% as accurate as the professionals across the entire study. So I'll be presenting a little bit more about that on Thursday, but I just wanted to say that you guys are the real heroes of this, because it could have very well worked out a different way, but it didn't. And this is really great information, and thank you, Dr. Mace, for sharing that on Wikipedia. That's awesome. And I'm really, really thankful for all of you for your hard work, because that's really what made this happen. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Kelly. Thanks for double booking. We're glad that you could show up here. Thank you. I think this is a good segue to the next award because Kelly's work was showing how good the citizen science data is in over a period of time. And our next recipients have been dedicated to collecting water quality data for a long time. They were trained in 2008 and they have been working with Friends of the River, San Bernard, since before that. So I would like to just give a personal thank you to Janice and Roy Edwards and say thank you. And here is your Water Leader Award. Tell us a little bit about how long you've been working with Friends of the River San Bernard.
Can you hear me now?
And there we go, you're unmuted. Thank you.
Okay. Well, actually, we don't work with them so much anymore. We started out with them. We actually helped form the organization. And what we wanted to do with doing the water quality was, we had noticed that the river was dying and we wanted to open it because the mouth of the river was closed. So we wanted to learn, it was fixing to be open. So what we wanted to do was learn what happened when they opened the mouth. And then as it closed again, we kept kept record of that. And we also made really notes of the wildlife that we saw and all that kind of thing. And then as it closed again, how the environment changed and how we could use that information to actually go get the BP award, the Restore Act funding to open the mouth the second time. And this time it's got built in a method to keep it open. And it's for environmental protection and also for people. So, and besides the river is pretty wonderful. Roy's over here. We got a little camera and a funky computer, so y'all have to bear with us here. We're not computer geeks, okay?
Well, we're glad that you're water geeks, even if you're not computer geeks. So we thank you for your many years of service and participation and just for the work that you've done there on the San Bernard. I've seen some pictures and it's great stuff. Thank you.
I like taking pictures and I also write. So, I've written 10 stories, 10 Chicken Soup for the Soul. I've been published 10 times in Chicken Soup for the Soul. And I have a weekly column in my bulletennewspaper.com, and sometimes I write about the river and that. And so I'm still writing about the river and ghost stories and all that have to do with the river. So we're still working on the river. It's just gotten to the point for us, we're getting so old that getting the chemicals has become difficult with COVID and everything. And we decided it was time that we'd done 12 years. That was enough.
Well, we're glad that you spent that 12 years with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And moving on to our next award, Texas Water Ambassador. We wanted to acknowledge a group that has demonstrated consistent commitment to supporting the Texas Stream Team mission. So this group has been active since 2009, roughly, and conducted more than 30 trainings. We'd like to say thank you to the city of Dallas and specifically Christopher Morris for all the work that you've done. Christopher, do you have anything to say about one of those forks up there?
Let's see. All right, I can't really see myself in my own video, but I'm just gonna say hi. I'm Chris Morris, I work for the city of Dallas. I wasn't here in 2009 when they first started up at the city of Dallas. I was actually at the Dallas Zoo, but I started with Texas Stream Team for the city right around 2012. Been through pretty much all the different forks up here in the DFW region, from the Clear Fork all the way over there in Tarrant County, the West Fork up there near Denton and Irving. I've been through the Clear Fork, so the East Fork, which is going through McKinney. So basically all those ones and all of our other kind of small streams, basically getting all of our different citizens that are interested in it. And then I've also had a couple of great groups like the Master Naturalist group I have had the North Texas Master Naturalists help me out. I've had Blackland Prairie and Cross Timbers help me out. And then also I have a couple of different of my larger lakes or reservoirs here in Dallas. They help me out too with the Friends of groups. So it's been really fun. I get to meet a lot of neat people and introduce a lot of people to the creeks and the streams and the brooks that are in their own backyards that they don't really know what's going on with them. And it helps them kind of learn what's going on with their environment.
Thank you, Chris. I see that you got a travel budget. I didn't get any budget. So I asked if there was any money for the song and dance, and I got laughed at by Aspen. So now I see.
My travel budget is they basically just ship me off to a construction site or an industrial site that is in desperate need of compliance education to make sure that they're not adding any more pollution to our water bodies.
Definitely.
So I'm out here. This is the Great Trinity Forest. I don't know if that swirl did anything.
It did. It was great.
Okay.
We'll consider that the song and dance.
There you go. You got it one way or another.
All right. Thank you, Christopher, for all the work that you do there in the Dallas area. Our next awardee is not here, but let's just take a moment to appreciate all the hard work that goes into getting a group up and running and getting all the things, the moving parts going in the right direction, the data coordinated, getting that entered, getting a group leader, getting supplies, getting all the trainings coordinated. That is a lot of work. And our Rising Star of Texas Award wants to recognize this year Anja Martin for all the work that she's done in Wimberley, getting that group set up. She was trained in 2019, and she's just been running straight ahead ever since. It's been the few moments that I've had to connect with her, I've gotten a clear sense that she really enjoys what she's doing, and I get that from everybody. So it's nice to see her focus that and get a group going as well and quickly as she has. So thank you, Aja. Again, for the people that aren't here, make sure you tell them I gushed and tears were shed, hands were clapped, everything. Thank you, Aja. And a real treat, our next awardee is here, and this is awarded to a partner organization that's demonstrated, again, a consistent commitment. I think that you guys kind of have, there's a theme, a consistent theme, if you will, to our awards. But we wanted to say thank you to this partner being active since roughly 2012. I may get the dates wrong, but please correct me if I'm wrong. And she's catching up to the city of Dallas with almost 30 trainings led. And we would like to tell Melissa Mullins at the Baylor Center for Reservoir and Aquatic Science, thank you, and present you this Mockingbird Award for all the work that you have done. Melissa, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about how you got started with the program.
Yeah, sure. Well, thank you so much for the award. I was really quite surprised to be getting something and thrilled. So, my job here at Baylor at the Aquatic Research Center is to coordinate education and outreach. So I kind of bridge the gap between our researchers and just all audiences outside of the university. So years ago, one of the tools I was looking at to do that was citizen science. And I don't even know that we were calling it citizen science at that time, right? I think we just said volunteer water quality monitoring, but so got involved with Stream Team then, and it just rolled on. We just kept adding components. And what I've found is over the years that of all the tools that I kind of have to engage the public in aquatic science, that citizen science is one of the most powerful. And I think that it's one of the most powerful because people really like knowing that the data that they're collecting is going into a database that other people can look at, right, for any number of uses, and that's used. And so I have a cross stitch here. You guys can't read it, but my sister-in-law cross stitched it for me years ago, and it says, "Tell me and I forget, show me and I remember, involve me and I understand." And I think when we involve people in what we're doing in our science, then we really, we really are leading to hopefully an understanding and a commitment to action. So thank you guys.
Well, thank you, Melissa. And I heard from a bird, or maybe a mockingbird, that you are a very good teacher. So you're in a very good position to get people involved and kind of remove that veil of secrecy from science and understand that it's something that we all have access to and we're all capable of. So thank you, Melissa. Our last awardee is actually from 2020, but since we didn't get the chance to publicly reveal it, then we wanted to take this opportunity to say thank you to, I just want to say one of my favorite citizen scientists, one of my favorite trainers, and I just am excited every time I get to run into her, Rachel Sanborn, who has been working with the San Marcos River Rangers since 1997. And I got to tell you, I crunched the numbers earlier, and Rachel Sanborn has trained nearly 5% of the citizen scientists in our program. Like, if you got a 5% discount, you'd be like, whatever. But think about how many people that actually is. That's more than 500 people that she has trained in our program. And she's just been so reliable and consistent. And we can't say thank you enough to Rachel. Rachel, have you got anything to share with us? Like, what's kept you coming back all these years?
Hi. You know, I agree with Danny. What makes this wonderful is you're working with people who want to do something about the environment. They have a little bit of time and they are willing to come out and put extra time into doing this. So working with all kinds of people from all areas of Texas has been a real privilege. And I have to say, during the pandemic, it was actually even more exciting because we had people coming in from all over the state for the first time. Usually it is just our area, our region, but during the pandemic, we had people coming in from all over who were interested in starting their own groups. And there's nothing more inspiring than being able to watch other groups get formed and other waterways get tested. And I have truly enjoyed doing this.
Well, I can say that we have truly enjoyed working with you, Rachel. We're just glad that we have you in our back. Well, you're like our neighbor. I don't want to say in our backyard because we're neighbors. So thank you, Rachel.
You have a great backyard.
I have
Too
to
bad,
say thank you
So that's the first step.
to Rachel. She trained me I was a new graduate student that was looking for some way to get some hands-on experience, and I'll never forget the day I met her down at the headwaters of the San Marcos to learn how to test water quality. I had heard about the program through Jason Pinchback when he was presenting at a student environmental conservation organization meeting. And so thank you, Rachel, for training all of us and still being here to train more and more people every year.
Thank you.
And I would just like to say again, thank you to Danny, Andrew, Jan and Roy, to Kelly, to Anja, who's not here, Christopher, Rachel, Melissa, and also to the rest of my team. Like I said, they have to stand in because they're the ones that I see every day that make me excited to be here, but that's because I get to see them. Hopefully soon, our next award ceremony will be in person. And maybe next time there'll be a budget and you'll get, like, instead of a third-rate MC, maybe second-rate. We won't spend all the budget on the dance cam for Dallas. But so thank you. We still have time for a song and dance.
Take it away, Laura. It's all you. Go dancing through the woods in your virtual background.
And that's it. That's all my skills, people. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Laura. You did a great job. Claudia, can you advance the slide? All right. Well, we finished a little bit early, so we are going to stay back, and if anybody who wants to hang out with us, have any questions, we'll hang back for a little bit. And we're here. Here's our contact information. Again, feel free. We're always glued to our email and we have connection with it all of the time. Texas Stream Team's email is txstreamteam@txstate.edu. Our phone number is 512-245-1346. And then our main website where you can go look up all of this information that we presented today, texasstreamteam.org. Tomorrow, we have a bunch of stuff lined up. We're going to do our day 2 kickoff. We have our first workshop, which is going to be how to start a Texas Stream Team group, some tips for success, getting things started, and kind of come to different perspectives on the different group types. Sandra Aris-Mendez is going to be talking tomorrow also on our quality assurance program. And then we will leave you all tomorrow with a panel with Texas Stream Team through the years, a walk down memory lane. Dave Buzan, Jason Pinchback, Mike Vera, and Travis Tidwell will all be at that panel. So please come out. And if you have any questions, like I said, stay back or we'll be here. Thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate it. And I'm going to include in the chat our agenda for Stream Team Fest. If you haven't accessed it already, there it is, our main Stream Team Fest page. And we'll be on until everybody else leaves or until 1:10 hits. We got a couple more minutes. And Claudia, we can stop recording.